What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another Xrp update. Just been battling COVID the past few days, so I appreciate your guys' patience, and this video is an absolute must-see. So not only are we going to cover a bunch of recent Xrp news, but I also want to talk about EWT, one of my long-term holdings. This is Energy Web Token. We're well aware of their partnership with the Xrp Ledger Foundation a while back, and we oftentimes talk about DLT essentially disrupting the payment space, obviously, in terms of value. We're talking about goods and logistics and data and trust, but most importantly, there's so many other use cases that we haven't even speculated on that are being built right in front of our eyes. So we have Energy Web Chain, Energy Web Token, this whole organization. This is the world's first open source enterprise blockchain platform tailored to the energy sector. So we talk about all of these types of net zero goals and carbon emission reduction, and this is the future, and this is happening. So general rule of thumb, I know I was talking about, EWT last summer, last fall. We even saw it pretty cheap in November, December, around like $5 to $6. And it did recently hit $17. I think it's back around $13. I still hold some, but I did sell like half my position and kind of doubled down again. But yeah, been playing that as well. So we'll cover this. I'm really excited about this. And keep in mind, we're going to do some good little rants in this video, so I hope you enjoy. First things first, this is Roth Economist. So we have Ripple partner MGI MoneyGram has 3 new board members. One is Alka Gupta, the current director of Global ID, and I'm certain you guys have heard of them, who co-founded it with the former Ripple executive, Greg Kidd. We also remember Greg Kidd was one of the first big Ripple employees that got Ripple in discussion with the Federal Reserve back in the day. I encourage you guys to go over Greg Kidd's, LinkedIn. We've already gone over it. Promontory Financial Group, a shadow regulator, that's what they're known as at least. We know that he was on the Federal Reserve Board. All interesting stuff. We even see Greg Kidd's recent tweet with Global ID, just all the shout outs focusing on XRP, get free XRP, introducing this XRP card and getting cash back. So all good and great. Identity is another huge focus in the blockchain ecosystem. And keep in mind, when I say blockchain, that's just a subset of distributed ledger tech. But in this world, we typically use these terms interchangeably. All right. Now, also, we have some other members right here if you want to read more about them. All in all, we have fintech backgrounds, investment banking, you get the gist. And it seems like even just what Roth Economist says, it looks like they're bringing on a lot of board members who can focus on a digital future. Makes sense, and I would assume the same thing. All right, here's the official press release if you're curious. And now I just wanted to touch on this. So we have Bill Gates, of course, just like many people. And before I even say this, please understand, I love Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to keep going. Ideally, I'm anticipating us to pull back so we can get some additional, alt runs and that next leg up specifically in the assets that I'm in. But yes, I don't hate Bitcoin. I just know that it's not going to be solving the payments problem at scale. Could it be that store of value? And could, institutional interest keep going? Yes, but I'm just looking at more of the fundamentals and proof of work, and I'm just a bit cynical. So it's all good if you, disagree with me, as long as we just respect each other's opinions, because I know some people, expect a full-on crash to zero. Some people are calling a never-ending bull run. Some people are saying we trend sideways for a bit. It's all good and great. If we all agreed, it would be pretty boring. And since we all, disagree, that market's trying to find equilibrium, and that means there's going to be tons of opportunities. So the contrarians that think opposite, or at least over the majority, will typically do well in this investment space. Remember, trading, investing, it's not always about IQ. Some of the smartest people I know have analysis paralysis. They overanalyze things to death, and they never actually make a move. And some of my most successful friends that their net worths eclipse me are dumb enough to go after their dreams and make things happen. So that's honestly just the thing as I've seen, and a lot of my role models are dumb enough to believe in their dreams and go after it. They're go-getters. Maybe they're not smarter than me, but they sure as hell believe in themselves. And that's what I think, that's what's most important. So right here, this is a recent quote from, of course, Bill Gates. We've had many prominent individuals. We know Brad Garlinghouse as well even holds Bitcoin, but we are aware of the energy usage per transaction. So right here, quote, Bitcoin uses more electricity per transaction than any other method known to man. However, he would be okay with Bitcoin if it relied exclusively on green electricity. Very interesting, all right? And we've talked about the, terawatt hours or whatever it's called. It's absolutely insane. So Energy Web Token is an asset that I encourage you guys to look at. I'm not telling you to go FOMO and buy any asset, but I think it's important to essentially look at any asset for that matter that is partnering with, Ripple's organizations or subsidiaries or initiatives, because that's honestly something that's helped me immensely. Looking at, Flare wrapping even Gala Games, and Gala has done exceptionally well since the beginning. And of course, it's kind of timing well with the NFT boom that's happening. But looking at these assets is very, very exciting. So I'm excited to see what else, other assets that Flare will essentially be looking to mint and then collateralize, Spark at a 2.5 ratio to do so. All good and great. So all in all, at a high level, there's just a huge incentive, a huge push for interoperability, not only between blockchains and digital assets, but between this legacy infrastructure that's oftentimes 40 years old, if not older, in the financial world. So this should be no surprise. We know that money will, go where it can flow easily. And so time and time again, we have a lot of digital assets. We have a lot of initiatives like Flare Networks focusing on this. We have AVAX with Avalanche and Avalanche Consensus focusing on this and just unlocking this tapped value. So keep that in mind. Obviously something to look into. We know that EWT is ranked in the top 100, so in my opinion, it's well established, not as risky as something with, a 50 million market cap, almost at a $400 million market cap. Any asset that essentially has partnerships with the Xrp Ledger Foundation, or even is working with Ripple, I believe is already pretty well vetted, and I think it's worth taking a look at if they already have obvious connections to Xrp, the digital asset, and the Xrp Ledger. So keep in mind, if you guys are new on coinmarketcap.com, you can click market, you can see the exchanges and pairings that they have available. I've typically only ever used KuCoin for this with the Tether pair, and notice this is additional upside if we did have future listings. The behemoths, there's some absolute behemoths in the energy sector that are supporting this initiative. There's a few competitors, just like any. I'd have to check if like Power Ledger, whatever that one is, it's a smaller market cap. I was looking at it yesterday, is any serious competitor to EWT. But keep in mind, just like a lot of digital assets are focusing on payments, there's really not that many that are well funded like EWT that are focusing on all these net zero, goals and emissions and the energy sustainability. So this is aligned with the World Economic Forum's view, and I think it is something to consider looking at. Not telling you to go buy anything, just go do your, due diligence and make sure that, the organization's view and appreciation of the token having a valuable network is aligned with yours. That is something I always check. So in this network, you can use other digital assets, absolutely, but bottom line, there's still demand for the Energy Web token specifically, something worth looking into. So the DOS, once again, a decentralized operating system. You can see some of the big players involved and all of their little names of their core tech. Very cool. So right here in 2019, Energy Web launched the Energy Web Chain, the world's first open source enterprise blockchain platform tailored to the energy sector. So I encourage you guys to go through this, look at their ecosystem, look at their members. There's some very, very big players that I don't think you can really ignore. So yeah, that's enough of that. Anything that has connections to Xrp Ledger specifically, or Ripple, or any other initiative or well-established blockchain company, I look at. I mean, Siemens, I'm sure you guys have heard of them. I think they even have direct connections to like HBAR and Hedera. No surprise whatsoever. These are behemoths. Vodafone, we've talked about connections directly to, of course, XRP. And let's see, Energy Blockchain Consortium. Yep. All right, so we'll keep going here. Next, so this is shared by Bank XRP. This is actually really important. So we do remember, of course, Marjan Delatine. She was a former Ripple executive. I encourage you guys to go through YouTube, go listen to her talking about XRP. She was actually a Swift employee or director that was in charge of selling Swift GPI, the competitor to Xcurrent. Then what happened? She left Swift, started working for Ripple, and you should see the light in her eyes, how she talks about the difference in technology. Working for a dinosaur at Swift, no offense, and then going to a very versatile, fast-moving fintech and just talking about the value add with using XRP as a digital asset as well. So there's just no competition, and now we can see that chess pieces are still at play and always moving. We have Settle, SETL, hires former Swift and Ripple exec Marjan Delatine. She's fluent in a variety of languages. Go look at her LinkedIn. Very, very interesting. Now, this caught my eye. Settle is the first regulated blockchain in the world to be connected to a real-time gross settlement system to provide for settlement finality. Now, something interesting, and I just want to share, and here's the official release by Settle if you guys are curious as well. We're going to kind of go back and say, okay, where did we see this real-time gross settlement system? And we see right here her experience. She was responsible for the commercialization of large-scale projects, both in securities and payments. Now, I've already, thought as soon as I read securities, I already, knew what came to mind. And namely Target 2 Securities and Swift Global Payments Innovation, GPI, as I said. Now, Target 2 Securities, where have we seen that? we've seen within their order books, they're sending what, $50 million plus every like 3 seconds, just rapid speed, kind of like ACI Worldwide, which is another massive RippleNet partner. Well, just remember, target 2 securities. So commercialization of large scale projects focused in this area. And then she goes on to Ripple. So she has expertise in target 2 securities. Remember this? You can type in Task Group and Ripple back in 2015. We can read about this, the value add. You get the gist, guys. Xrp is life-changing technology, or the digital asset is, and Ripple, RippleNet and their network as well. Task Group and their Task Network Gateway at the heart of the European Target 2 and Target 2 securities real-time gross settlement systems from the very start. Something worth noting, we know that Task Group's logo is an owl as well, just kind of sharing that as a little fun fact for anybody that is curious. And yeah, I had to point that out. So you can see a variety of ecosystems, Mexico, Singapore, keep in mind Singapore, UK, Switzerland, they all already have clarity for XRP, saying it's not a security. So keep that in mind. Mexico, we already know we're active with Bitso for on-demand liquidity flows using XRP specifically. So yeah, just a lot of coincidences as always, all right? And honestly, guys, I'm probably going to repeat this in like a bunch of videos in the future, but I'm telling you, people are sick of waiting for XRP. People are sick of holding XRP. And what if, and this is just a theory, what if the best shakeout of the XRP community to get them to sell and get them to give up on their investment is not actually maybe a price crash or some crazy price dump? What if the best shakeout is essentially just tiring out the holders while they see all these other assets pumping substantially? And as I've stated, the past few years in this channel, guys, I hold dozens of assets, well over 30 at this point. It's kind of messy, and I really have to get my act together. But I'm going to talk about whatever cryptos or whichever cryptos I want in this channel, but I'm not going to stop talking about XRP because its price action is sitting at 40 cents, and I'm not going to come back when it goes to $1 plus. I'm going to be here regardless because the genie is not going back in the bottle. I've already seen all I need to see, and I have zeroed out in this ecosystem. Now, I can be wrong, so this is not financial advice. Nothing is guaranteed. Please just be accountable for your own decisions, all right? Because I'm not forcing you to do anything. I just encourage you guys to research any digital assets in the future because this ecosystem is changing rapidly. And I'm not talking about price. I'm not talking about price action. Do not be fooled by that. The smart investor is looking at assets and charts when they're boring, when nobody looks at them. The typical person that's on YouTube right now, they're looking up assets after they've done that 200% return. But the people that make the most money are doing the groundwork, the legwork. They're sharpening their sword now and getting prepared for those big parabolic moves. So with that being said, guys, all my other holdings are growing rapidly. And if they keep going, I may even actually just end up dumping some of those to get even more profit, or, dump some of those profits and maybe even double my XRP bank again. So I'm a man of my word. I am literally putting my money where my mouth is with XRP. I'm not just doing videos and talking about XRP. I literally hold a lot of XRP, and I'm going to continue to do so. I don't see anything wrong with the tech. The more people that get scared, the more bullish and confident I become that XRP may in fact be a digital asset that is not really meant for the retail side. So just my opinion, food for thought. So right here, guys, we're going to finish up with this. So we have Anders L, and I just want to read this thread. I thought it was interesting. Keep in mind, this is speculation. This is not factual, all the way at least. This is speculation with facts. But I just wanted to, kind of share this, and you guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. All right? So with all of this, the SEC allegations, this lawsuit, it's scary, we get it. The big issue around the security case against Ripple is the big XRP holdings, obviously. So whether it's the executive's initial holdings, the company's large holdings, or the billions locked up in escrow. The XRP Ledger Foundation is a nonprofit rather than Ripple being a for-profit organization. Now, Jed McCaleb, the CTO of Stellar, but he was actually one of the creators of the XRP Ledger. And as we know that Stellar is essentially a fork network of the XRP Ledger. There are some differences, of course, but he left Ripple, or said he left Ripple, because he didn't see a global payments network being able to be implemented where a for-profit company owned the majority of the tokens. Interesting. Now, Stellar is a non-profit. However we may feel about Jed, he's not stupid, but more the opposite. If we look at Flare and how this is set up, it may prove to be similar for Ripple. They have a for-profit organization as well as the non-profit Flare Foundation. The Spark will be divided. Keep in mind, Spark at a same ratio of XRP. 100 billion XRP, there's 100 billion Spark. Now we have to collateralize the Spark at a 2.5 ratio, at least that's the current ratio. That could change, and that is a massive amount for me. I know that everybody's getting big into collateralized debt positions. You can F-mint these assets, wrap them and allow them to interoperate on other blockchain networks with the smart contract capability. It's a no-brainer. So yes, there's demand for XRP, people, because every time they mint FXRP, they're going to have to collateralize it. And then the more XRP that's minted, the more that has to be held, and then the multiplier effects can happen. And that's why I can even get even more bullish on XRP. So if you really don't think that XRP is going to pass $1 or even hit those fib extensions of $10 to $15, which are extremely conservative in my mind for the future, I don't know what to tell you. You should probably go, buy Bitcoin or watch another channel, because this will be happening with or without us in my mind. All right, so he has all of this. Spark will be divided amongst the entities. We have 25 billion Spark will go to Flare Networks Limited, which is Flare's for-profit organization. Then we have 30 billion Spark will go to the Flare Foundation. So all in all, that is 55 billion Spark. Notice we have 45 billion that will be claimable by the Xrp holders, stripping out the known Ripple Labs addresses. So all good and great. I support this initiative and I wish them well. This is not a threat. I essentially am hoping them success in, this complete endeavor. And right here, it would make sense to me if the Xrp Ledger Foundation, partnered with Energy Web as well, were gifted a large share of the XRP, the majority, maybe the escrow, that they could distribute as they see fit, while Ripple keeps control of a large share as well. That way, wouldn't everyone be happy, including the SEC? And just interesting speculation, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. And newsflash. So we've heard a few things. We know that the SEC actually doesn't really care about retail investors or protecting them. They had 8 years because they've been meeting with Ripple, the company, on almost a weekly basis for the past several years. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to tune into the next video and go look into Task Group. I'll catch you in the next one.